You can't do it on your own. I have to also participate, so it's up to me. That's what says Raman, the second Vayivarech Otam in chapter 5 means. Hashem said, you know what? I am Meshubat to you. I have made myself bound to you. Mankind, every time we decide to have a child, I will have to come and will give it neshama. Gladly, I will do it.
Is that the reason why when animals give baby right away they're strong and they can go and do whatever they want to do? It is possible.
Ramchal writes something to that effect. Okay, it's not this conversation, but maybe we'll learn that together. Yes.
This might be a dumb question, but what about, isn't there such thing as Gilgul where animals, we can come back as animals? Don't we also have
I've asked that question many times. You're right. There is, well, Gilgul is machloket, but the majority opinions do believe that Gilgul does happen. So now you're asking is, sometimes an animal is told to be, a person's soul is told to be told inside an animal. So now you're saying an animal has a soul, but I just told you animals do not have souls. That is your question? To answer your question correctly? Okay, I was asked that question a number of times. See, this is a mistake. An animal doesn't have a soul. That means that's not what makes the animal animal. Of course, a soul could be stuck anywhere. It could be stuck inside an animal. I tell you, rocks are not part of these donuts here. Right? These donuts, part of their ingredients are not rocks, are not pebbles. Sometimes you find a piece of bread or a piece of donut, there's a pebble that's stuck in here. That's a part of the donut, it just got stuck there. A neshama could be sent as a gilgul inside an animal. That's not what makes the animal alive. That's not what makes the animal animate. It just is stuck in there. That's the prison that it goes to. It's its prison. That's not who the animal is. It's not the definition, the identification of the animal. It's just stuck there. For that matter, it says in some Sepharim that it could even be sent as a gilgul in a rock. And Neshama could be a gilgul in a rock or in a tree. It doesn't make the rock or it doesn't make the tree alive. It just, that's what its prison is because of whatever sin it did. This is the predicament and the punishment it's suffering for whatever reason, that those are up to. So again, going back, so now you understand this Gemara in Kiddushin that says there are three partners in man because every time a child is born, right, Hashem has to personally get involved and not have, right, it does not happen naturally. Now the next page, it's an unbelievable, fascinating Ramban. We don't have everything, we don't have the time to go through it word by word. You should. I'll tell you outside the question of Ramban. Ramban says, I'm going to read the first ayah. He says, you should know there is a disagreement about mankind. Researchers into the world have a disagreement, he says. This disagreement is like this. We know mankind has spirit, neshama. Yeah? That's neshama. Now, for one thing, our neshama gives us the ability to speak. It also gives us the ability for human thought. It's wrong to say intelligence because animals also have intelligence.
Imagination.
Right? That's right. He's heard Nashir before. I'm not going to get into that right now. It's getting too late. But let's call it whatever is called human intellect. Whatever part of human intellect that is different than animal intellect, that comes from our neshama. Yeah. Now you have over here an animal. Again, I'm stuck with a cow today, so I'll use the cow again. He says, "Holy cow!" Right? So you have this cow here. The cow is alive. Does it have a soul? No, but it's alive. What's the difference between this alive cow and the dead cow, the corpse on the floor? Life force. Nefesh, we call it in Hebrew. There is a nefesh, there is a life force that makes it alive. When the life force leaves it, now it's a dead corpse. Right? It's being sold at the butcher shop. Okay? The life force is gone. What?
Is it spiritual?
Okay, is it spiritual? The answer is no, it's physical. Ramchal writes clearly, it's physical, and again, there's so much to talk about. He writes, even though this was only, I'm surprised that no one said it before, but this was only proven by Einstein in 20th century, that energy is interchangeable to matter. That's how we created the atomic bomb, right? But Zohar repeatedly and repeatedly talk about fourth dimension, the 4 dimensions of matter, one of them being energy. Right? They used to say 3, now they say 4, right? It's solid, liquid, gas. That's what they used to say. After Einstein, we say energy. Zohar repeatedly talks about the four statuses. It's energy. Energy is a physical thing. Now it's a very, very ethereal physical thing. It's maybe you could call it quasi-physical, whatever you want to call it. Energy is a physical thing. Now life force is also energy. The fact that this cow is alive there's a energy that its source is in the physical world, not a spiritual world. That's what Ramchal writes. Life force, whatever it is, life force is a physical thing. So here is the question by mankind. Mankind has a soul, which is not physical, which is spiritual. Now, does it also have a life force or not? Meaning, there are 2 ways of looking at soul. Here you have a body. The body has life force, makes it animated, makes it alive, but it has a soul, which gives it the ability to speak, the other things. Or no, it doesn't have a life force anymore. The soul itself is like a life force version 2.0. It is a stronger life force. It affords life and more. That's the question Ramban writes over here. Ramban says there is this mahkar out there in the world. There's this disagreement. Some say like this, some say like that. So says Ramban, he says, I don't see any clear answers in the Pesukim, but the Onkelos answers the question. The answer is in Onkelos. That's right. Because when Onkelos says, when Hashem gave... Oh, okay, before I tell you the answer, so you understand the answer correctly. What would be the difference between these two way of understanding? It says, the body, man's physical side was created, then Hashem, right, breathed into him a soul. Before Hashem breathed into him a soul, what was he? Was he alive, or was he just a statue?
Alive.
That's the difference. If you tell me he has a life force, he was alive, then Hashem gave him a soul. If you tell me, no, there is no life force in mankind, there's only soul, so before that, he was just a corpse, just a statue. He was dead. So he says, you read, Onkelos says, Hashem breathed into him a living soul. Adam ruach memalela. Now man could talk. What does that mean? Before that, he was alive or he wasn't alive?
He was alive.
He was alive, he just couldn't talk. So before Hashem gave neshama to mankind, he was a living, breathing being. He walked around. And he probably was smarter than chimpanzees, but he couldn't talk. And he wasn't as smart as what we call human being nowadays. Right? If any of you read the book of Dr. Gerald Schroeder, so he writes that during that time, because Chazal point out that there was a time lapse between when his physical side was created till later when Hashem gave him neshama. During that time, Adam Harishon, he had offspring. And all those Neanderthals and prehistoric man were descended from that. There is a reference to them in Mishnah and Masechet Aholot also. Adam HaSadeh they're called. Prehistoric man. So, okay, not getting into the yes.
Sorry, just on that kind of, like, didn't Hashem breathe into him before he created Chava?
Alright, so, really, if you read the pasuk, first Hashem says created them, both of them. Then it says created Chava.
Right.
So Chazal say that man was created an androgynous, just like trees have a male part and a female part. Right, so mankind was also created with both male and female together. There were 2 beings that were attached.
One body.
So it was possible. Yeah, the 2 bodies were attached. So it was possible to have children. That's what it's read. Look in Orachaim HaKodesh, brings from Kabbalah like that. Okay. So now, So it comes a very, very interesting thing. We have, in order to have a human being, we have to have a soul. You don't have a soul, but soul only could be created by Hashem. Hashem did not create an apparatus that could bring about neshamot. Neshamot are so holy and so lofty, so close to Hashem, that no factory could create them, no system could be created to provide them. In every single time Hashem, again, has made himself meshubah to us to provide neshama to children that are born. Yes?
But every Jose and Maria
Have neshama.
Force Hashem to give them neshama.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, that's a system.
That's the system. That is why in chapter 5, Pasuk Bet, it says, Vayivarech otam Elokim. That's what the bracha means. Means I have made myself bound to your decisions.
But not Koloni.
What? Okay. I didn't say that yet. Let's finish and I'll tell you what I'm going to finish. So now you'll understand, by the way, the Gemara in Sanhedrin. In Sanhedrin talks about, Chachamim did create men, I guess you could call them. Right? We call them golem. Right? They created golem. They created a living, breathing being. It came, it went.
Two-legged animal.
Right? It served them, it carried for them. It was very hard. Look at this Gemara. This is Rava said, right? Rava says that Chachamim could even be creators, right? So Rava once created a man. He created literally a man, and he sent him to Rav Zera to bring something. So Rav Zera talks to this guy. Rav Zera doesn't even recognize that he's not a normal person. That he's a man created by Rava. He was so normal looking and normal behaving, he just came, handed him the thing. So Rav Zera starts talking to him, and he says he can't talk back. Now something about him not being able to talk back, Rav Zera realized he's not mute. He just doesn't have that ability at all.
Melila.
Right? He didn't have it. So he said, oh, min chavrayat. You're these humans that my colleagues make. Easy stuff. Right? Tuv le'afrach. Says, go back to being dust right there. Right? One tzaddik created him, one tzaddik turned him back into dust. Right?
So he killed him?
So there is no killing. He's not a live being. He's not a human being.
It's like killing a cow.
Yeah. So now, why couldn't he talk?
No neshama.
Because he had no neshama. Why can't Rava of all people create a neshama? Because nobody can. Even greatest of the great like Rava cannot, because only Hashem
But
could.
then Maria
Now,
and Jose can.
that's right. Now,
Force Hashem to.
that's right. Now, no, it's an unbelievable idea. Now, that means Hashem made himself meshubad. Hashem made himself meshubad when Maria and Jose create a new person, right? Create a new person to give him neshama. Hashem did not make himself, did not commit himself to create a neshama when Rava decides to create a man that doesn't come from a father and mother. Hashem did not meshubad himself. I tell you, I just love this last page. Chacham Tzvi was a big posek about 280 years ago. He was asked if the Chachamim says his own grandfather, Chacham Tzvi's grandfather, made the golem. That's a known fact.
How many years ago?
350 years ago. Chacham Tzvi's grandfather was a student of Maharal. So some say Maharal never created a golem. He was a student. Chacham Tzvi's grandfather, that was, by mistake was told, was said, okay, bidazime. So he says, you have 9 people and this golem. Could you make a minyan? That's a question that was asked to Chacham Tzvi, right? You think it's a very rare thing. Look in Mishnah Berurah. Mishnah Berurah brings down this Chacham Tzvi l'halacha. He brings it, right? You have 9 people and this golem. Could you make a minyan and daven? What do you say, Danny?
No.
Why not?
He's a golem.
What's wrong? He's a golem, so.
He can't think independently.
He's a
He
cow.
could think independently. They asked him to do things.
Okay, fine. So then it's
He
fine.
doesn't have neshama. So.
He does not have neshama.
Can't answer on that.
A mute person could be part of minyan.
What's the
A mute person can be?
Yeah, of
You
course.
said you can't, he
I
can't.
didn't mute, I said someone who's
Yeah.
retarded.
Okay, but
But he
still.
can hear.
Mute is not necessarily.
Yeah, but if he's mute, he can't answer amen. What's the point if he
No,
can't
it's
answer
not.
amen?
His neshama is that the fact that there are 10 neshamot brings down the presence of Shekhinah. You don't need to.
What?
So that's why says Chacham Tzvi, no. Chacham Tzvi says he cannot be part of minyan because there is no neshama. Now look at Chida, what Chida writes on this Chacham Tzvi. So he says, writes Chida, Rav Tzvi Ashkenazi Nistapek has a doubt in Adam Aratzah Yedei Sefer Yetzirah Mitzaref LeMinyan Asara. If he could be part of minyan. V'ani Temi Al Rab. Says Chida, I don't even know why does he ask such a question. I don't understand his question. It's obvious that he cannot be part of minyan. Listen to this. You know, I think Maurice already said it. So, do we have any doubt that a cow could be the 10th person in a minyan?
That's two legs.
There's no neshama. Right? Kizera says, "Behema betzurat adam." Says Chida, somebody that was created by Sefer Yetzirah is an animal, just in a firm form of a man, like he said, on two legs. Right? Kien koach, listen, kien koach Ezer Yisrael, koach achiyuni kebehemot. Sefer Yetzirah could only give life force. That's why he cannot talk. That only comes from directly from Hashem by what? To give nishmat chaim. So the question, Rabotai, right? By cloning, one aspect of it is, if they do succeed, there are a lot of problems that they need to solve to get there, but they're working on it. They may get to a point where they are able to clone human beings. The question is, will it be a real human with a neshama, or will it be a zombie? Will it be no neshama? Because, look, did Hashem commit himself to create neshama to a man or person who's created by cloning? I just want to say one thing.
A sheep that's cloned is kosher, Rabbi?
Could be kosher.
Hard, no?
Whether it's power or not. There's a question whether it's power, but most of them don't believe it's power. I just want to go back to the first page. Go back to the first page, right? Chapter 5, Pasuk 2. I'm not saying this definitive. I'm just sharing this with you. Right? Chapter 5, Pasuk Bet. Zacharun keva baram. Right there. First page. Zacharun keva baram vayvarech otam. Hashem created them, male and female, and blessed them. Now we just learned the whole thing. What does it mean bless them? He committed himself to provide the neshama. But right before it says male and female. It seems, if it's not male and female, it seems, I don't know, I don't want to say it, obviously. You know, it seems, Pasuk is connecting the two. He's talking exactly to cloning. I commit myself to a child that comes from man and woman. But one that doesn't, right? Who says he will have neshama? So
It kind of comes because the DNA that you get
okay.
already has a man and a woman.
So I tell you what you're saying. Within the medical field, there is a raging. If they ever do cloning, who is his parents? See, it's an identical twin, genetically speaking, to the one who contributed. If you take a 40-year-old man, take a cell from him, and do cloning and get a baby, this baby that is born today, 40 years later than him, is what?
It's him.
Is his identical twin.
It's him.
Well, whatever. So who are his parents? Are the grandpa? That 40-year-old man's parents. So, okay, it could or it could not. You're right. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not saying definitively. I will finish with two things. Number one, they realized by Dolly he did not live long, and he started getting arthritis or getting all those old age ailments much early in life, which is unbelievable. That means the cell has a memory. This cell, even though it was created new, but the cell came, let's say, from a 40-year-old, feels like a 40-year-old, even though it's in the body of
Infant.
an infant. Right? Dolly got arthritis and all those old age problems at a very young age. It's unbelievable idea. The memory is in the cell. A. B. There was a conference. There was a medical ethics conference about 12 years ago. And they sent an invitation to Rav Shalom Kamenetsky. Any of you have heard of Rav Shalom Kamenetsky? So Rav Shalom Kamenetsky's son, he's a genius. I've hardly seen anyone like him. It's unbelievable the amount of knowledge he has. He's a genius like I've never seen. It's amazing.
Shmuel or-
Rav Shmuel's son, Rav Shalom. Rav Shmuel's oldest son, Rav Shalom.
Yeah.
It's like unbelievable. So he got an invitation to attend this
Conference.
conference. So he writes them back. So I think you mistaken me with someone, because there are a lot of Kamenetskys in the world. Right? You mistaken me with someone else. I'm not in the medical field. I have no knowledge. I have no education in the medical field. So they send them back to you. No, we know who you are. We know who you are, and we would like you to give us a presentation. So he wrote back, what presentation? So they said, we are really, see those people who do the research, they're brilliant people, they're smart. They do see things, they do realize things. Says we really are wondering, we may be able to clone human beings, but what we are afraid of is that they're going to be zombies. They're going to be zombies.
Yeah.
What we are afraid of, the body is going to be functioning fine, but what we call the mind and the spirit is not going to be there. And that's why we would like you, we asked around and your name came up. We would like you to give us a presentation. Apparently he did give a presentation. Someone in his family told me he has a notebook this thick written on cloning. Part of the ideas that we said here is in there, right? Someone in his family told me. But he's not planning to publish it. At least not now. He's not planning to publish it. So that is part of even the researchers themselves, who are not Jewish or religious by any, but they do realize there's something more to making a human being, and that's what it is that Torah tells us. Hashem has to come and give the neshama. Will He? In a case of cloning, it's at best a question mark. Okay, all the best to you.